welcome back to my channel. My name is Keisha, and here on this YouTube channel, I love to deliver. I choose to deliver. I hope I'm delivering healing messages through tarot, awakening message through tarot, comforting soul messages through tarot. Hello, soul tribe. Hello, my soul family. I hope that this recording reaches you well. And if it doesn't reach you well, I hope it can give you 1 or 2 seconds of warmth and support and love in your heart, where you feel like you're not alone and that maybe you can be understood. And even if you only get 2 seconds of that a day, then go ahead and cherish it. That's more than you had before. And let's show some gratitude for that. Hi, soul tribe. Hi, soul family. I don't know what this intro is going to be. It's going to be a bit of a long one, I guess. Let's start off with the reading first. I have like some kind of updates, but I don't know how to put them into words just yet. I don't know, for those of you who follow astrology, Neptune is in Aries. Actually, Neptune and Saturn in Aries. They both oh my god, they both moved into Aries. I want to say somewhere in the beginning of this year. And Neptune was in Pisces for a while, so was Saturn was in Pisces for a while. And Neptune is the planet that governs our spirituality. It represents, it rules Pisces, and it rules our dreams, our illusions. It rules our connection to the source, to our spirituality, to our core source. Is the planet like close to God, right? It rules Pisces, like even like I'm stumbling over my words because I feel like sometimes words just can't describe like what the energy of the planets do. With that being said, because it's the planet of our spirituality, and Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and it's I am. When Neptune was in Pisces, and Pisces is like the last sign of the zodiac, and it's the end, right? But it also rules like collectively. But Aries is your individual self. So Neptune would have not been in Aries in any of our lifetimes. I can't remember the last time it was in Aries, or even the last time that Saturn, the planet of karma and discipline, lined up with Neptune. It was probably over 200 years ago. So we're living in a especially different, unique kind of time. But the most important part, or what I'm trying to get to, not of it, but what I'm trying to get to, is because it's in that sign of Aries, and Aries is I am, and is more personal. Your spirituality, your gifts, your practices is no longer competing or being part of this big whole picture. Think about like being part of a church, or any kind of religion, or I don't know, and then just being devoted and having this dreamy nature in that whole. Now with Aries, with Neptune and Aries, it is going to be now personally your individual spirituality, your personal gifts. And I don't know if you've been paying attention, but I've been having some things awaken. I've been having some things awaken in me, and not gifts that the universe is just like giving to you. These are things that you've held on to and done and honed and crafted at many of lifetimes, hundreds of lifetimes, thousands of lifetimes. Like, these are your gifts. Like, you reincarnate. The rain is getting so much harder as I'm saying this. I feel like I'm on point. You spend lifetimes on this earth. You spend lifetimes off this earth. You spend thousands of years. Your soul is very, very old. It has so much knowledge woven in and fabric into it. And maybe we've been all part of the collective and feeding this thing, but now it's time to bring your spirituality back to you, back to your personal roots and what your journey is. So with that being said, I want to take a look into a significant part of your past life. Now, I didn't pull this reading with the intention of finding what your gift was. I pulled these cards and I sat with each and every single pile. I pulled these cards wanting to take a look into your past life to see which one is significant, right? This is going to be like a part 2 reading. So this first reading is going to be your past life. I'm going to take a look into it, see like who you were, what is some of the things that shaped you. And then the second reading is going to be how does what happened in your past life, this one that's coming up, what are some of the things that you brought over and is affecting you in this life. But that's for the next reading. This reading we're going to get into your past life, and some of them are really interesting, child. Like I said, I sat with some of these cards just to get like the energy. Sometimes when I sit down to do my tarot readings, I get a very shallow, surface level version of it, but I'm going in for a second time now, so let's see like which other stuff we could mine from it. Alright, so with that being said, I have 3 different piles here for you, and you could pick whichever row your intuition is calling you to. Let me get my hands out the way. By the way, don't put don't use year-old glue on for your fake nails. Don't do it. If you have some old stuff and you're thinking, oh, it should be fine. It's not fine. Just throw it out. So excuse my nails. They need a rest. They're a little upset with me. So we got 3 piles for you to pick from. Use your intuition. Use your gut. Pause it if you have to. You can have more than 1 pile. You can have 3 piles. You can have 1 pile. You can have no pile. It really is where your intuition is calling you. So take a deep breath. Choose a pile, and I will see you at your pile selection. Okay, hello, pile number 1. If you were drawn to, I didn't even go over I didn't even go over the crystals in the intro, but I'll be alright. If you were drawn to, which I believe this is Moonstone, if you were drawn to the Moonstone, the deck, this is the pile for you. So, hold on, like I said, I don't have many notes, but I took some notes. Okay. So let's get into your cards. Now, like I said, I've already sat with some of these, but before I start spewing, I want to see what else comes out here. Okay, yes. I remember. Do you remember? I remember. Okay. Pile number 1. So, when I was shuffling your cards, my intentions were to only have 1 of the romance cards. Oh, sorry. I messed this stuff up. There you go. Sorry. Yeah, my intention was only to have 1 of the romance cards, and 4 romance cards came out for yours. So I know in this past lifetime of yours, love was a huge significant driving force like in your life. I'm gonna put this here because I like more room for cards. So let's put this up here as we read, since it was such a big deal, such a big driving force in your life. Love, romance, dating, was a huge part of your past life. I don't know if it's like significant now, like if you're like a love sick kind of person now. I don't mean love sick like you're sick though. I mean like, you know, people who love or who's always searching for it. Alright. It's always a challenge making sure I get all the cards in here. Not that you need to see them. Alright, so a couple interesting things happened when I was pulling your palm. Once again, you have more romance cards than anybody else, signifying that romance and love and all that stuff is a huge theme in your past life. So before I was able to pull, like, just give me like an overall story. Before I was able to pull that, these two cards popped out. Three of Swords, Two of Cups in reverse. Okay. Pile number one. This is what I'm picking up. In your past life, I'm getting a lot of messages. Hold on. Okay. Let's start with the first love first. There was a main love in your life. And I'm talking about like young love. The song, Chris Brown, young love, everything I need. I got him like young love. That came out when I was doing it. So like, and that Alicia Keys, the teenage love song. Here we go back there to the teenage love. I'm pretty sure that's not the beat, but those songs are the ones that came inside my head. So let's start off with your past life with this young love. So it feels like you were in a situation, just to give you like the cliche movie version. You were young, you met someone, and you guys like fell in love, and it was like a young, beautiful, like innocent kind of love, but it was dangerous, and not to you and that person. It was dangerous to the people around you, and I'm going to say most likely maybe your family. It feels like a situation where the family like gets to choose or has a very significant role in who you're allowed to be with, right? So it felt very dangerous to your family. I'm getting the Notebook. I'm getting, the scene that Allie's coming in my head when she was like on summertime at her summer house with her family, and she met Noah, and her family was like, this is harmless, but then they started to see she was getting like really serious, and they were losing their control. Like, let's be for real, they would lose their control because of their daughter's like feelings. So I'm getting like that same kind of vibe here, right? But the thing with the person that you fell in love with, it was never really going to work. And once again, not for you and not for your person, but for whatever circumstances, family, whether it's religion, whether it's distance, travel, it wasn't going to work. It wasn't who you were designed in the eyes of those people to marry, right? Take it how whatever resonates. But that was your first love, and you and that person loved each other like very fiercely, but it was also very young, very immature, very, I don't know, like, do you remember like being a teenager in love? It was everything. Do you remember being a teenager and being in love? It was everything. Ugh. It was like everything was so important. Everything was so deep. Everything was just so pure and just passionate. You know, I always say like the mutable signs, the fixed signs are like the teenagers like of the zodiac, and it's just giving me like that Scorpio intense like obsession, like all or nothing. This person like very teenage like vibes. It feels very giddy and fun, and this person was didn't care about your rank and your status. It definitely felt like it was a barrier between you. So, when you had to leave this person, when you had to break up with them, or they had to leave, or move away, or whatever happened, let's see. I'll pull a card for that, actually. The family drove. Yeah. Okay. He was not. That person was. He or she was not welcome. Your family drove them out. Yeah. So when your family forced you to not be with this person, leave this person, not be able to continue the life you wanted with them, you are heartbroken. And I'm not gonna lie, you were heartbroken for the rest of your life. You know, you in this lifetime, you did not get over that. You were heartbroken for the rest of your life. You did not get over that. It stings, actually. It stings. It stings. I can still feel the stinging. I'm not getting into the new life piles, but I'm gonna assume that even in this lifetime, you probably search for them. You probably find yourself searching for them everywhere. I can feel it. You searching for this. Okay, so your family, your community, your church, your your religious figures. I don't know what time period this is. Anyway, the powers that be in your situation, whoever that is, the powers not that be, say, all right, you're not allowed to marry this person. You're not allowed to be with this person. This is not how it's going to work. Oh, God, you know what it's given? It's given. Like, if you were a man, and, I don't know, say this, like, you're part of the aristocrats, the autocrat class, right? But you're like the third son, and you're the third son didn't get any inheritance, right? The first son got the inheritance, and maybe the second son got some stuff trickled down, but the third son, you got to go out and find your own shit, right? You got to go out and find your own shit, and you couldn't get a job, and now you needed to marry someone for status, for money. And the first person you fell in love with was going to keep you poor, and the family was like, absolutely fucking not. This man, we expect more of you. Like, those are the kind of like scenarios that are like dropping in my head. Like, there was the barrier was not, it was just not going to happen for the time period. All right. So you go on heartbroken, right? You have to do what the family tells you to do. So you go on heartbroken. All right, I have no way to put this delicately. Pile number one. You went on heartbroken. You had many admirers. Pile number one. You had so many admirers. So many admirers. And at first, you were just like, once again, heartbroken, upset, rightfully so. But at first, you were just so nasty to them. You were uninterested. You were not trying to play along. You were like, I'm giving up. You could make me give up the love of my life. You could make me not see this person, but you can't make me be happy or be nice to or cooperate in a way that you want me to cooperate with some of the people that you are bringing to the table to be courted or to court you, depending on whatever your agenda was, right? So you had so many options, and the options were coming, but you did not care about none of those options. They were coming out the woodworks. I do not know. Once again, I don't know if your family had status, or it doesn't feel like they had like a lot of money, but enough that marriage was important for your stability, for your status, for your name, for whatever it was. So there were a lot of options coming to you. Okay, now here's another thing I'm going. I don't know if you watch BoJack Horseman. I'm getting Beatrice Sugarman, which was BoJack's mother, and during her cotillion, she found like this rugged outsider, and they went and they had a one night stand, and she was kind of like rejecting high society, and then she found out she was pregnant, and then she had to end up being with him, and her life was like a little bit miserable. So I'm getting like a scenario like that where you were just like, these people, like you being presented, and you're like, bum, 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 bum. And then you grew a kind of like a nasty reputation that this person is not really that courtable, right? Please work the story with me. It's coming down. So he wasn't really that courtable, right? So there came to a point where things had to move forward, and somebody did come in, but it was the King of Pentacles in reverse, and you were in so much conflict that I'm not sure if you could see that this King of Pentacles was not who they said they were. I'm not sure if you couldn't see it because you were too busy in the heartbreak, too busy in the fighting, too busy annoyed, too busy trying to like punish. The King of Pentacles came in. He feels like a trickster. He feels like a scammer. He feels like a scammer. It's given like Charles Ponzi kind of person. So the King of Pentacles come in. He's not really perturbed by your attitudeness. He don't care about whether you love him or not. He doesn't care about your attitude. He's not intimidated. He's not getting pushed aside. He has a completely different agenda. And that agenda was hidden to you. It was hidden to you. It was hidden to your family. It was hidden to the people around you. I felt like it was getting like a desperate time to like get you married off or get you connected with another person. And this person was desperate too. You could have married upwards, but I feel like you were, I don't want to call it self-sabotage, but you were self-sabotaging with those people. Like you just wasn't, you were so heartbroken. You were so upset. You were missing your love. None of the people compared. So, and you wasn't up to pretending like it did. And you kind of pushed those people away, and it opened up the gate for other people to walk in. And the time started to tick down, or something happened. But you were blinded to this King of Pentacles in reverse. It don't feel like you saw that this person was a little bit sketchy and decided to go with it. You were kind of blinded by it. Like this heartbreak was traumatic for you. It was. It was traumatic. It was traumatic, and it really colored the rest of your life. And I think sometimes, I know sometimes when we're hurt like that, and especially when we're grieving, we leave the door open for something else to walk in that we never intended to. And that's what happened with this King of Pentacles in reverse. And while you went along with it and you thought you maybe had some control over it, by the time you realize who and what this King of Pentacles truly was, it was too late. Like you were already in it. You were in it. You were swimming in it. You were in it. You were connected to this person, deeply married. You had children with them. I'm talking. It took you years to understand, like, this person is not who they say they are. Why is this added card here? I'm gonna pull why this added card is here, because that's you. The addicted part to me, I'm not gonna lie. Let's pull this. I'm not going to say you were addicted to the pain. I'm not going to say you were addicted to the pain. You were addicted to, you had this rebellious fight and spark. You see this Mars card is here? You had this rebellious fight and spark. In this lifetime, you were not about healing this pain. You were about working with it in a way where it took you down. I'm not gonna lie about one. Later on in life, you became a very nasty bitter person. I'm not gonna lie to you. And later on in life, you became a very nasty bitter person. Because this King of Pentacles took you through the motherfucking wire. I'm talking about probably fraud stuff. You probably had to move a lot. There was a lot of keeping up with the Joneses when the money wasn't there. And yes, this King of Pentacles took you to the cleaners. This King of Pentacles took you to the cleaners. So the imprint from this lifetime was the hurt and pain from not being able to have your loved one, and the grief from that, from the person who you felt that you were supposed to be soul connected, to be ripped apart from that person and then put into a quote unquote love affair like with another person, and to have that person not even be true to themselves, and not to even just be true to themselves. And he's not giving off like, tell me more about this King of Pentacles. I was gonna say it's not giving off abuse, but no, it's not giving off abuse. It's giving off reckless. It's giving off dreamer. It's giving off like, hey baby, hey honey, let me tell you something. I was down at the pool hall with Mark and John and Joe and them, and this guy came in and he said that he was starting this new business, and all we needed to do was invest in 40, he just needed 40 grand to invest into this business, and we all gonna be rich. It's not given like you were abused. It's given like this overly like ambitious King of Pentacles who wanted money, who wanted wealth, who wanted status, but could not really improve, couldn't move up, couldn't improve their thing. They married you because they thought it would look like good society. This person was all about image. And I think that's how they kind of tricked you and your family a little bit, because they were very good at projecting the image of someone who had money or was coming up or who knew business, but they could not back it up. And it caused a lot of turmoil for you. And once again, you had children with this person. You had children with this person. And it felt like that's when the cracks started to show. Like, after you have multiple kids, it wasn't one. You had like maybe two or three kids with this person, and then like I just see like the nanny's like, you know what, I'm not coming back tomorrow. And you're like, why are you not coming back tomorrow? And you're like, the nanny's like, I haven't been paid in 3 months. Like, what you mean you haven't been paid in 3 months? So and so said they were gonna take care of that. Or I don't think this is a situation where we had lights, but like you come home and then your lights was out, or you were at the mall with your kids and then the car was repoed. Like, this is what I'm getting just from like some shady practices. So like the guy that you were married to all these examples is rushing it. The guy you was married to, like, I don't know, he's like, hey baby, I got you a new car. And like, where did you get money to buy a new car? And he's like, don't worry about it. And like, you're driving around in your new car and now it's getting repossessed. Like, it was just like boom, 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 stuff like after that. And he would say he was doing it for the love of the family. He would say he was doing it for, he said he was doing it for the love of the family. He was saying he was doing it for, but, He was a King of Pentacles in reverse. He had no idea how to build a stable home. He had no idea how to be a man in that way. I see him dying before you, and I see you having to clean up a mess. I see your soul. I see your soul just like sitting at an old chair. Like, it's not a cigarette, it feels like a blunt, a joint or something. I just see your soul like sitting at the old chair, like talking to your grandchildren, like like an old chair, like smoking a joint. It doesn't feel like a cigarette, and just be like, "Let me tell you about your grandfather, this motherfucker." Let me tell you about your grandpa, this motherfucker. I don't mean to laugh, it's just the way that it comes to me. So, alright, pile number 1. This is what I see for your past life. Definitely an interesting one. I want to see if you, wait, hold on. Let's see if you had affairs. Did you have affairs for you? Yes. You did. You cheated on that King of Pentacles. Y'all are ruthless to each other. Yeah, you had affairs. You definitely had affairs. Okay. What an interesting life, pile number 2. Pile number 1, sorry. Yeah, you had affairs. You had affairs. Oh, girl, you grew nasty. Girl or guy, you grew nasty. You did. You grew like, oh, it's giving Beatrice Horseman. You're just like, you got us living in, I see, like, you got us living in this motherfucker, like, yeah. And he kept trying to please you, like, he wanted to please you. He wanted to please you so bad. But he never went about the right way of doing it. Of getting stuff, of doing stuff. Pissed you off. Why can't you do it the right way? Why can't you do it the legit way? Why it have to be some shady backroom deal? Why I gotta be so-and-so blown in town? It's giving Ponzi scheme, like falling for it. Not like the master person that's running it. Like maybe even tried to like run his own Ponzi scheme and it never worked. He definitely loved you more than you loved him. Absolutely. He wanted to be worthy of someone who could have you, and he just never felt it, never could it. It also drove his behavior. Your status was higher than his, and he could not provide, and all his erratic actions was fueled by self-hatred. Self-hatred, trying to please you. And then the more you beat him, the more he did that, the more you beat him down, because it's not who you really wanted in the first place. You wanted someone else. And then like when you're in the throes of this, you're not even thinking about the pain is throbbing in the background of your life. Just so you know, like this pain never left you. It is throbbing in the background of this whole life. I feel like there were times you never even let yourself think about this person. You never truly mourned this person. You're probably still feeling the pain of this person. I'm not supposed to get into this. You probably still feel the pain of this person in this lifetime right now. Because you did not mourn it. Or it was something you would not, it was too painful. You did not let your brain go there. So it built up this resentful monster. Even when you looked at your children, you saw this man's face and not this man's face, and you were not pleased. You cheated a lot. I ain't gonna lie, you cheated a lot. You cheated a lot, and you cheated ruthlessly. Alright, pile number 1. For real this time. Thank you for clicking on my channel. Thank you for allowing me to read for you. Thank you for allowing me to get into your past life. Like I said, this is a 2-part reading. This is the first one. Please be on the lookout for the second one, and we're going to see how this energy kind of affects you and what you brought to your next life. And I also, since we were talking about the Neptune gift, I want to see what some of the spiritual gifts that you maybe brought with you. Hopefully, universe and your guides and my guides will reveal that to me. All right, once again, thank you for clicking on my channel, and thank you for trusting me to read for you, and I hope to see you again. Hello, pile number 2. If you were drawn to this beautiful rose quartz rough crystal, the pile, or the this is your pile. I know polished crystals are very pretty, but I like the rough stone so much better. I don't know. Look how beautiful. I mean, I love a polished crystal, but I love a rough stone. Let's get into it. So, what was your past life like? Let's see what messages I was getting when I was pulling your card. Okay. The cards were shy, slow coming out. 2 archetype cards. And 1 romance card. So love was not a huge focus for you. 1 romance card, and it barely wanted to come out. So this lifetime, I'm gonna put this here. In this lifetime, love was not like a huge focus for you. All right, we have coffin, toil and labor. We'll put the release your ex, galactic. All right, it's coming back. Like I said, I sat with all these cards. 4th house, home, family. You had 2 archetype cards, I remember. We had the monk and the nun and the trickster. I'm gonna put these over here. I never know like how to line this up. I mean, there's no proper way to do it. I mean, yeah, there's no proper way to do it. But I want to do it where it tells us the story that I'm trying to tell. Okay. Let's look at your tarot. I remember it now. I remember it now. Oof. What about this? I'm not sure what this one. Okay. Pile number 2. And even the way I loaded these cards is meaning something. I'm gonna get there. Trust me. Just give me 1 second. Pile number 2. Okay. So love was not a big significant thing in your life. Actually, this past lifetime is coming up and you kind of lived 2 different lives, right? So the vision that I'm getting, the vibes that I'm getting for this past lifetime, your family, your lineage, and I'm not sure it'll probably be different across the board. Thank you. I'm not sure if it's because you were born into it, like if it was passed down from family member. I'm not sure if it was based off your gender. I'm not sure if it's based off, like, I don't know, in this part of the world or whatever was happening here, that I know certain people got selected to do it, but it feels like it's not giving like religious. Bear with me, please. It feels like you were part of some, I'm gonna say religious for lack of better words. It feels like you were part of some type of religious organization, or I don't want to call it a cult, some kind of temple organization where you took a vow, like a vow of poverty, and you were here to guard, watch something. It doesn't feel like a priest, right? It feels like you're here to protect or guard or watch something. So say there was a city, right? And in the middle of the city was like a temple of worship, right? And there were people who worked in the temple, right? And they did various tasks around the temple, but they were not paid. They were not paid. They were not meant to be looked at. They were not meant to get glory. They were almost meant to be like invisible. And you're almost meant to be like kind of invisible. People didn't come to you like as the religious leader or anything. It just felt like you were like the guardian of the temple. So think about nuns who live like in a convent, and maybe they pray and they clean up the statues and they collect the money, and then they help the people find like whatever. I've never been in a convent, if you can't tell. I don't know what nuns do in a convent, actually. Let's be for real. But like that's what I'm getting. Like I just see you doing like various tasks around, I don't know, like this monument, this worship, something, but you're not allowed to participate in like the wealth of it. It's like this is like the king and the queen, and then like the aristocrats, and then like the farmers or whatever, and then like there's these temples and stuff, and there's people who mine the temples and do all this, and that was like, it felt like that was what you were born into. It's not something like you didn't choose it. You didn't like get and be like, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna be the temple guard. Yeah. It was definitely like a place of worship. I don't know if it was I don't want to say it wasn't a real place of worship, because, if people go to worship there, then it's real, right? But it wasn't like a big church. Galactic. Yeah, it was a place of roots. It was a place of worship. Now here comes the double life, because you have monk, nun, and you have trickster, right? So you were born into this. It feels like maybe at one point, the people who like ran these temples, I feel like lifetimes ago, lifetimes upon lifetime, upon hundreds of years, maybe they had the power and they ran what in the town, in the village, and they were like at the top of the totem pole, and they gathered a crazy amount of wealth, and it feels like the community like toppled it down, and like there was a revolution, and then they didn't want to get rid of what they believed in. They just wanted to be able to like control it and monitor. So they gave those people a vow of poverty, and then like I don't know, it's 200 years later, and like you're born into this lineage, and I don't know, maybe your soul remembered when it was the people who ran it, and now you got reincarnated back into to now the people who were just taking care of it and not making no money off of it. But your soul was really rebellious to this system. You were born in it, you knew it like the back of your hand, you understood it, but I'm not gonna say that you respected it. You didn't respect it. I'm trying to be nice. You didn't respect it. I'm trying to be nice. You didn't respect it. You didn't respect it. And because you didn't respect it, and because you were born into it, because it was drilled into your head, you knew how to take advantage and exploit it. And that's why we have the two cards here. We have the monk and the nun, and then we have the trickster. So it's giving like people would come down to this temple and they would put the offerings, right? And you took a vow of poverty, so you were supposed to only eat oatmeal for the rest of your life. But somebody came down and they put apples and grapes and pineapples and all types of stuff as an offering. And the rest of the people in this who took this vow thing, they decided that they were, you know, they're gonna eat their oatmeal, but you were like, there's grapes there, and they're like, there's offerings. You're like, fuck their offerings. We live, sleep, work, clean here. We ask for nothing. We have dirty rags, and there's fresh food there. And then you would go and like eat the offerings. Yeah, you did not respect it. It feels so rebellious. You're a trap there, though. You couldn't leave. There was no way I'm not sure what the situation was, but there was no, I feel nauseous. Oh, I feel nauseous right now. Did the food make you sick? See, because you respected it and you manipulated it, don't mean it didn't cause you turmoil. Like, I feel like you ate the offerings. I feel like you ate the offerings in remembrance of where you used to be. It wasn't like breaking out of the whole system. It was like an ego thing. Ooh, the nausea went away. It wanted me to put that. I feel like every time you kind of did this, karma got you in the butt. I feel like every time you kind of did this, karma got in the butt, and then you tried to take like the spiritual meaning like out of it, and you tried to like rationalize it. I feel like karma kicked you in the butt every time you like boom, boom, boom. But you were back and forth between monk and nun and trickster. I'm not gonna lie, pile number 2. You worked until you died. You worked here until you died. You died here. You lived and you died here. Born and you died here. In this system that you knew so very well, that you were trained from birth to do. What else does the soul want to know? Okay, pile number 2. Your soul is still carrying it feels like an unfulfillment. It feels like, what is my purpose? This took away your lack of purpose. This lifetime, you were mechanically, from birth to death, in one place, in one role, with the same people, looking at the outside world, never being allowed to be a part of it. You watch people come into this temple, leave this temple, worship this temple, whatever it was. I'm saying temple for lack of better words, whatever. But you were never allowed to be amongst the people. This is what pained you the most. It also feels like there was no mother, father, family system. That was missing. You felt denied that. It feels like maybe if they had children and the children went straight into like the training for this temple, and you would never really have like a family, like a family relationship. I mean, this can even be like in the workhouse, like England. Think about like Victorian days. This could even be like working in the workhouse. But once again, I don't know. It feels like a vow of poverty was taken here, but there was no family. There was no family. You felt that was denied to you. There was no maternal influence here. There was no comfort of the mother, right? That's the most, yes, the trickster part, but there was no comfort of the mother. There was no comfort of the father. There was no comfort of the family. There was no support of the family. Like, I feel you were like, I could feel your past self like inside working hard, toil and labor to the coffin, working hard. That, like, this wasn't an easy thing. Like, you worked from sun up to sundown. It feels like a prison. A prison with a mask of righteousness. This is your duty. This is what you're meant here to do. This is what you came here to do. But there was no mother, there was no father. It felt like you woke up, it was work, it was training for what you had to do, and then it was like back to sleep. And the only way you could assimilate, maybe get some control, like I said, someone would drop off an offering and you would come in and you would take it, you would eat it, and you'd be like, that's what apples taste like. That's what strawberries taste like. All right, that's what salted beef tastes like. Oh, this is bacon. Like little things. And it wasn't just about the food. I don't know, the food is coming up very significant for me. I don't know why. But it wasn't just the food. It was like little things. I see you sneaking out a couple of times, going amongst the people, seeing how other people live and wanting more and different, and just being sad about your status, but also not being able to escape it. But these people that you're definitely exploited. I wonder if this lifetime you either went two ways. You were either like born in like maybe a tight religious organization, and you also felt about trapped about it and you left, or I wonder if you rejected that kind of stuff altogether. Probably hate capitalism too, if I think about it. You probably hate capitalism because you could. I'm gonna say once you started to like leave the temple or whatever, you started to see how like other people were living and got upset, but you couldn't. There's no way for you to leave your status. There's no way for you to like leave your status. Like death was the only way out, and that's how you went out. Oh, pile number 2. This is a heavy one. This is a heavy one. I don't know. I see like this. You took a vow of poverty, and then they were building a monument, right? Or they were building a sanctuary, or they were building a church, whatever, depending on whatever. They was building something like that, and it needed the people to be able to build it. Think about like the slaves that built the pyramids in Egypt, shit like that. Like, here's a vow of poverty. This is what you have to do, and like just work to fucking death. Did you die young? I feel like you died young. Did you die young? Yes, you died young. Worked to death. Died young. You died young. You lived and worked to death in the name of something that was supposed to be so great. For some kind of place of worship, for some kind, and it might not even be a place of worship. I'm not gonna. It could, maybe it was a statue to a king. I have no fucking clue. You saw the fakeness of it. Toil and labor, and it don't feel like some kind of it don't feel like slavery, like in chains. It feels like mental, religious, however the way like they keep us down. You died young. Your soul mourns for the life not lived. Your soul mourns for having to do this from birth to death. And you tried little ways. You tried to little ways, but you could not have, in this lifetime, you could not have gotten out of it. You died out of it. Tough one. I'm not gonna lie. It's not much joy in this past life. It's not like you tried, but there was not much joy. And once again, it feels like if you ate an offering, then there was some kind of karmic get back, whether it was the universe gave it back to you or the people who were watching over you find out. And then there was a get. I felt nauseous. Like I could see like someone see you eat an offering and they'll leave it out, and then someone poison it and you'd be sick all day, and then they'd be like, "Why are you sick? Oh, did you eat something you wasn't supposed to eat?" We're always watching. It feels like no true nurturing in this place. No true care, no true nurturing, just this strict duty. I feel like punishments were swift and they were hard. No toes out of line. No shirt untucked. No floor unwashed. No brick not laid perfectly. It wasn't an option here. So back and forth between the monk and the trickster, the monk nun and trickster, back and forth between following your duty and secretly rebelling it. Boom, back and forth, 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 back and forth. Ooh, I'm not supposed to get into this again, but I'm pretty sure in your current life, your soul carries this. I don't want to call this discipline. This is not real. They weren't teaching you discipline. It was masked as discipline, but it's not. Discipline feels not the right word as I say it. It feels critical in a controlling way. Look at this King of Swords. It feels critical over this High Priestess. It feels critical in a controlling way. So like, the people in this temple are supposed to have their shoe. Why am I doing that voice? Anyway, the people in this temple are supposed to have their shoelace tied in a double bow knot, and then you would come and it was like in a one, not a double bow knot, but just a regular one knot, and then you would get chastised or bad, boom, boom, boom. But a double bow knot versus a one bow knot is not a discipline. It's like this form of control. It's like this form of control, like this fake perfectionism and like impiety. Yeah, I feel like you would probably carry some of that. All right, pile number 2. This is all I see for you. Be on the lookout for part 2 to this, because I want to see how this affects you in your current life, what you carried over. And since in the little introduction I was doing the Neptune in Aries, I want to see what gifts you might have brought over from that lifetime. So thank you for clicking on my channel. Thank you for trusting me to read for you, and I hope to see you again. Hi, pile number 3. Sorry, something happened to my camera. It just stopped recording. I don't know what happened. I laid out the cards, but let's Hi, pile number 3. If you were drawn to this Desert Rose, or have my pile, then this is your pile. I'm sorry, I started recording and something happened and it stopped. So I'm not gonna, let's get into this message, because My cameras never did that before, and I said this one was a little bit dark, and now I felt like something tried to stop whatever this message is coming through, so let's get it through anyway. That was very weird, and I did not like that at all. I felt interrupted. Let's get this message. This lifetime is a very significant karmic time for you, pile number 3. We're going to treat it with gentle gloves because some awful things did happen to you in this lifetime, and we're going to get into it. All right. Sorry, I'm a little shook for that. I don't even know how it stopped recording. I was talking, and I looked up and it wasn't going. Okay, so pile number 3. You're being represented in your past lifetime by this Page of Cups, right? And it's given young, innocent, exciting. It's given like the gleam is still in your eye. It's giving. Bright eye and bushy tail. The version I get is just someone waking up and it's just like, what does the world have for me today? Just optimistic, excited, and ready to like be a part of life. And I'm not gonna lie, in this lifetime, you were taken advantage of because of it. And the idea that the thing that I'm getting, it's not an idea, but the image that I'm getting is cities like Dubai, right? Massive city, lots of buildings. They are trying to become, and I think, I don't know how successful it is. I'm not paying that much attention, but I think they're trying to become like a huge like tourist destination, and they want to rise to a world power, and they're trying to open up their doors and have like tourists come in. So they're building all these buildings and beaches and all this stuff. But the thing about that is that it takes money, it takes time, it takes labor, it takes all these things to be able to do that. And they're doing it in a way where they're exploiting people. Now, I forgot where I picked this up from. I listen to stuff all the time, but there are people who are coming over to work in other countries, and they think they're on a work visa, and they're going to make some money, send up, help their status with their family back home, come build some shit, use their skills, and be able to go back home. But what happened is these people are getting trapped inside different countries. Their visas are getting taken away. They're being forced to work. They're living in basically concentration camps, and they're not able to improve anyone's status except for the people and the things that they're building, right? And I feel like this is a similar scenario that happened to you in this lifetime. I feel like you're a young person, naive, ready for the world, excited about it, trusting, wanting to do better, wanting to improve your life, your station, and your family. And I feel like I know that, I don't say it to feel, you got exploited because of it. And when I was pulling out your cards, I kept hearing never to be controlled again, never to be controlled again, never to be controlled again. It was very, very, very adamant. I was very adamant about that. It was a very, very strong message, never to be controlled again. This was a very karmic, I mean, they're all karmic, but this was an extremely karmic path for you. Tell me more about this. One card, please. I want to, I say one card. And they're like, we don't give a F about your one card. Trapped. Okay. So in this lifetime, I feel like you meet some kind of powerful people. And I see it more of a recruitment. I don't think you were out searching for these people. I don't think you were out searching for this opportunity. I think you were just open to opportunities and you wanted to improve your status inside your community. I feel like these people came into wherever you lived inside your community and they sold dreams. They sold dreams. They sold dreams of a distant land. They sold dreams of a distant place where you could live like boom, boom, blah. It's given multiple market MLM. So anyone ever been to one of those MLM meetings where they're trying to recruit you and they have all the people come up and the higher ups and they have like all their expensive cars lined up and they're showing you pictures of their vacation and they're like, hey, we got this because we're selling leggings. We got this because we're selling coffee. We got this because we're selling da 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 da. And you look at it and you're like, oh my God, that could be me. It's given MLM. It's given like somebody was making their way through like towns and villages and small cities and they were recruiting people to come to another one and they were selling like this big fantastical dream of all these things you could do. And you bought it. You bought it. But when you got there, it was nothing like it was and you were not able to return. The slave card is here. The slave card is here. When you got there, you was unable to get out of it. It's definitely given MLM. I could feel the innocent leaving you. I could feel like the innocence like leaving your eyes. Like you were, I could feel the innocence leaving your eyes. Oh, you did it. I'm gonna put this over here. This is a lifetime where you were emotionally and physically abused. And I'm not saying this. I'm not saying it's like better to get abused in childhood. I'm not saying that. But when you're a child, it's conditioning. This was a breaking down, and that's the line. And when it happens in childhood, if you grew up in that atmosphere, then you were conditioned to this kind of abuse. But you were susceptible to this kind of abuse to break you down. You see this Hierophant in reverse? You were broken down. You were broken down to be controlled. And you had like, did you fight back? How hard did you fight back? I don't feel like, it's not, you tried multiple ways to get out of it. So you weren't fighting, like physically fighting, but you tried multiple ways to get out of it. You tried to say, I'll pay off the debt, and it was never, you tried multiple ways to get out of it. Lots of ways. And they were like, well, you could pay for your freedom, and then you would save up money and pay for your freedom. And they was like, well, that's not enough anymore. Actually, you need that plus this. And then you would get that plus this. And they would say, oh no, actually, it's that plus this and that. And then you would be like, and then, I don't know, they would switch managers or warden, and they'd be like, oh, that's the deal that you had with the last one. That's the deal that you had with the last one. That has nothing to do with me. And then you would have to wait like another time, and you like a couple of more years will go by, and then you would try to make, and you'd be like, all right, so they said I was supposed to be here for 7 years. I did my 7 years. I didn't make as much money. The money that I did make, like, it feels like ties. Like, all right, move to our village and we'll put you up in a place, we'll get you a job, and and then like all your money like goes back into their pockets, into their village, and they're like, well, if you buy out this house, then you'll be free. And then you bought out the house, and then it was like, well, the house value went up, or it was, you tried to follow their rules to get out of it. Like, you did not you did not rebel against this in the system. You tried to use its rules to get out of it, and then each time you just started to realize that it wasn't real, or those rules were fake, or it, I don't know, it took lots of circles and cycles for you to figure out, wait a minute, there is no way out of this. Like, you were still naive in it, and they exploited that. It was a continue exploitation. It was continuous. And you were trying to be righteous, you were trying to be fair, you were trying, like, it felt like you were raised in like a loving kind of bubble, where, I don't know, in your small town, like, people in your small town or village, whatever, the people looked out for one another and they took care of one another. And of course there were problems, there were issues, but it wasn't like this whole nother scenario that you were dropped into. So you left home and you did it, and you tried to follow the rules, and the rules never got you out of it. It only kept you in it and deeper. And you blamed yourself for a long time, which is what they wanted you to do. And it was built to make you feel like, well, you chose this and you can get out of it, but you're not doing what you have to do to get out of it. So now you're stuck in like this miserable place. Oh, pile 3. Look, there's no... I don't think you're allowed to have a family there. I don't know. It feels like it feels very restrictive. It feels restrictive and dehumanizing. I don't even know if you're allowed to date. I don't think you're allowed to go back and see your family. In slavery, like, you were trapped. Yeah. Ooh. Any more information? These cards is calling me, not the tarot. Let's see some other stuff. Let's see what other information we can pick up from this. Okay. It felt like this town was built. It felt like this town was built for like some kind of aristocratic family, some type of corporate family, government. It feels like either for political or like money reasons, this place was being built. And I don't know if these people, it wants me to get into the kind of people that tricked you so you can understand. This place was being built under the facade of some kind of family, some kind of corporation, starting over a new, like, I could see someone, like, let's just say, like, they were part of the royal family, any royal family for whatever decade, I don't give a shit. They were part of like this big royal family, this big conglomerate, right? And they were not holding up their particular duties in their family role or their family dynasty. They were not holding up their role in their family dynasty. Yeah. So they were exiled. They were exiled in their own right, but they still had money, and they had enough money to go ahead and try to build up. Yeah, it was over for them. Wherever these people were at before, it was over for them. The people who they were dealing with were no longer dealing with them. They were fucking done. And I'm gonna say they probably committed atrocity. They feel very manipulative. They feel like they had different ways where they hurt the family. They thought they were above the status, the program, and they thought they deserved something different. And they got exiled from whatever they had. But they took their goddamn money. They took their money and they took the followers and like maybe their house servants, and they moved far enough from where they were and far and close enough where other places were to bring people towards. And they needed people to help build up this castle, this stuff around them. They wanted what the higher members and their family members had. They wanted that for themselves, and they wanted to build that for their family, for themselves. And the reason why I feel so strong, I feel like wherever this place that they built still exists right now, like we're living, like people still live in this town or this city. It's probably a giant fucking city right now that I think about it. Maybe that's why it feels so significant for you. There's a I'm gonna say in Asia, because this Asia card came up. There's a place in Asia where some kind of rich aristocrat family broke off, built their own town. The history of the place is like this wonderful, amazing feat that these people did. Like they built it from the ground up. They ruled it. Because I feel like these people also came into like a different kind of power, but they did it on the exploitation in the back of the people, and you were one of them. Oh my God. Is there a place, or when you watch stuff and you see like all the flashy good headlines about something, I feel like for you, you could feel the dark undercurrent of what it takes to build something like that. And I feel like it makes you sick to your stomach, and you don't know why. And this is why. Because this town that stole from you, this town, this place, it feels like it's a huge city now. It don't feel like no small little place no more. It feels like a huge fucking city. It's still alive. I can feel it. I'm pissed. It's still alive and well today. And you helped build it. You helped build it. Not by choice. You were tricked. Never to be controlled again. Are you a deep conspiracy theorist? Saturn and Scorpio, like there's a huge lesson. You came back not naive no more, I bet. Scorpio, intense. Yeah. I bet you investigate shit like no other. I bet you people make other choices and you're like, you're just gonna, no, let me sit with it. Let me think about it. Let me do some I'm not supposed to get into this part. That's supposed to be later. Let me get into investigating it. But this city is still alive and well. And people praise it. And your soul, your soul knows how it was really built. Okay, pile 3. That's what I see for you. This is the first part to a second part reading. Stay tuned for part 2. I want to see how this life kind of affects and carries into your current life. Also, since I discussed the Neptune in Aries and the Saturn in Aries. Oh, look at this card that came out, Saturn. Very karmic time for you. Please let me know if you look somewhere in Asia, and Asia is huge, so like I'm not saying, but to interrupt myself, please, if you, because there's going to be a lot of people, right? If you intuitively, if your spirit, if your soul intuitively you feel, what place or city it was, please let me know. I'm so effing interested, and I will do so much research on it, but I'm very interested to know what place brings up, that sharp pain in that chest, or like your whole body vibrates. What place for you brings that up in you? I would love to know. But anyway, back to what I was saying. This is a part 1 of part 2, and I want to see how this energy affects you in your life now. But then, since I spoke about the Neptune and the Saturn and Aries, I also want to see what kind of gifts you have. What gifts were brought from that? Like, what did your soul take from it, and what gifts are awakening, in the past? And we'll look into that. But thank you for clicking on my channel. I love to read for you. Thank you for trusting me to read for you, and I hope to see you again.